my Survivor Thrivers? It is me, authentically Regina B, and I am back filming another video for you guys. Like, I have a video that I need to upload that I've been trying to upload for the last 2 days for you guys. Then I have a shorter video that I filmed yesterday, which was, what was yesterday? Wednesday, October 13th. And now today I am with you to begin week 3. I have covered days 1 and 2. Today was day 2. Yesterday was day 1 of week 3. And yeah, so let's get right into it. I'm really enjoying doing these videos for you guys, not only for you guys, but it's a great help for me, myself. And I just really appreciate all the support that I have received so far during this new journey. So the 2 books that we're doing, if you're new to the channel, is Retrain Your Brain, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy in 7 Weeks by Dr. Seth Gillihan. And the other book that we're doing is Let That Go, Journal Your Way to Feeling Weightless as. And I really enjoy both of these, and I'm really enjoying this one. It always brings a smile to my face. So let's hop right into it. I think I'll start with this one because I always start with this one. So let's switch it up. You know, hey, it's sweater season. It is sweater season. So let's see. Yesterday, which was Wednesday, October 13th entry was One Joy a Day Keeps Bad Away. Come back to this page every day for a month. On each day, write one thing that made your life a little more joyful, a little more fruitful, or a little more spectacular. They can be big or small, but each entry will act as a nice reminder that there's always something good to be found. Yes. So let's see. For yesterday entry, I ate an awesome calzone. Oh, it was so good. Like, it was my first time ever having a calzone. I usually get strombolis, but hold on just 1 second, y'all. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. My 2-year-old, who's actually about to be 3 tomorrow, has started making a habit of getting up from nap time when she hears me doing these videos. So I had to just go ahead and stop and put her back down. Funny thing is, we do parents as teachers here in the state that I'm in the city that I'm in. And what that is, like a teacher will come and just give you ideas to work with your child. They'll give you like assessments to let you know if your child is on track for like pre-K and things like that. And then they'll just ask you like, how's her development going? Is there anything that you want me to bring next time to help? And they play games, and it's just a really cool thing. And so one of the things we were talking about was nap time. So the last time I saw her, we discussed nap time, and she brought something today that just gave different suggestions, because my baby, she's been fighting her naps, and like that leads to crankiness. All of us know that when kids get tired, they're not like adults. We can just push through. We may be grumpy, or we may be low vibrational, but we can still push through. A child that's tired, they get upset because they're confused. What's going on with me? And it's like, what's going on with you is you're tired. And she gets up with my bigger daughters when it's time for them to go to school. So that's pretty early for her. So anyway, getting back into this. Yes, I had an awesome calzone yesterday. It was so good. It was build your own. I put mozzarella, pepperoni, black olives in there, mushrooms, red onions. It was so delicious. And then I had an awesome praise moment. I did my run on my treadmill in my living room, and I was listening to my music, and then I decided to choose a different playlist. I was like, let's switch it up. And so I think I did Apple's Christian Essentials, because I was doing Apple's Christian Rap Essentials. So I was like, let me switch it up, and the songs that I was blessed to hear, I was just like, yes. And it just turned into a whole thing, and it was really great. And it just prepared me for other things that I had to do throughout the day. Like, I'm having this good moment, but I also know that later today, I have to go somewhere that's going to make me uncomfortable. So, it was good. And I did go to that event that made me feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to get into detail because it involves my son. But I will tell you, it was stressful. I was triggered. But then as I was driving home, I'm like, but God is so good. It's like, what really are you upset about? So anyway, So going into today, get done was today's, eventually. Procrastinating big responsibilities is never ideal, but if you're going to do it positively. Instead of sitting on the couch and wallowing in the abject desperation of your immobility, do something productive that you hate less than what you're avoiding. By the time your house is spotless and you've engendered world peace, you'll feel better about getting to the thing you actually have to do. Make a list and get your together. Positive procrastination. That's awesome. So she filled in a couple. The ones that she filled in was clean the house, do your laundry, volunteer or help a friend, and learn a language that will take years to master. So for mine, I put edit, upload, vlog. Clean house, check mark, because I straightened up earlier because Parents' teacher was coming over. Comb Gracie's hair, organize my room, and then I needed to email someone back. Check that off because I did do that. And text party reminder to people that are going to be attending Gracie's birthday party this Saturday. So yeah, those are the things that I put. And honestly, ticking things off lists, like when I ticked off that clean the house, it did kind of give me like a little, oh. So that was yesterday and today's. Let's get into week 3, days 1 and 2. And guys, I will try to keep it as short as possible. There is a lot of reading, but it's always a lot of reading in the beginning. So let's get to week 3. Here we go. So week 3 is identifying your thought patterns. In the previous chapter, you began to identify what you value in major areas of your life, as well as activities that support each of these values. You then chose 3 activities to complete. This week, we'll start by reviewing how your activities went, then turn to identifying your thought patterns. Take a moment to review how your 3 activities went, what went well, what could have gone better. Write your thoughts in the notes section provided at the end of the book. I should already have this open, I know. This is day 3. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so week 3, day 1. The activity that I chose was call or visit a friend. I haven't been able to do yoga, and I will be going to a new restaurant this weekend. So those 2 activities I haven't done yet, but one that's a major one that's hard for me was to call and visit a friend. And my friend actually visited my house on the 12th. So she came over on the 12th and we hung out, and it says, I invited my best friend, sister in Christ, over. I was excited. I had some anxious thoughts that crept in. I kept thinking about how dirty my house may look to her, which led me to realize I compare her home to mine, my home to others, which ultimately led me to prayer, acknowledging and confessing that I struggle with comparison. I also started a Bible plan. It's 3 days in length. The comparison game is what it's called. Then when those thoughts came up, I was like, no, first, truth. My friend is not judgmental. She doesn't care about things like that. Also, she doesn't go places she doesn't want to go. And I kept reminding myself how much I wanted to see her. She came through, we laughed, had a great conversation, which was one of my values. And I love her and I'm going to see her more. And then I said, I haven't been able to do activities 2 and 3, but I am planning and looking for a yoga class, and I'm going somewhere new Saturday. It's not a restaurant per se, but still, something new. But putting myself out there and seeing it through made me feel accomplished. In the past, those thoughts would have gotten in the way, and I would have ended up canceling, making up some silly excuse. So that was for the first activity that he had us to do. Hold on one second. I will be right back again. Again, my apologies, but I'm back. I had to go get my girl. Like, I had to go, kind of be authoritative. Like, no, you're going to take a nap. For any stay-at-home moms out there, when I first started and I first became a stay-at-home mom, I almost drove myself into the ground just coming up with activities, thinking of places to go, this and this and that. And then again, I was doing parents as teachers, so this would have been like 8-9 years ago. And she's like, no, you need to plan time, your downtime. You need to plan when you're going to have your break, when you're going to have, your personal time. And then that's when I started incorporating nap time, because before it'd be like, let's just go and do this and do, I was raised by a single parent. So me being a stay-at-home mom, I had no model to kind of follow. So anyway, let me get back into this. So I had to go and be like, no, we're not going to start this. So I did that. And then over here it asks, what are your thoughts and feelings about planning and completing specific activities so far? And I just read my response to that. So then, let's see. He says, a common response at this point in the program is, I did my activities but didn't feel any better. If that happened for you, well done. That means you stuck to your plan. If you did get a lift from doing the things you planned, that's great. Either way, keep going. Yes, I did. I did I felt better. So it was nice. So I'm going to skip down. It says, as you did last week, choose activities to complete in the coming week. Last week you planned 3. This week pick 4 activities. You can repeat an activity from last week if you need to revisit it, but try to add some new ones. It takes practice to find activities that strike a balance between challenging and manageable. Stick with ones that you gave a ranking of 1 unless you're confident you can complete a 2. So for those 4 activities, I put either go visit my friend at her new salon location, or plan a visit to see my papa. Take a yoga class, because I actually was not able to do that yet, and I've been looking up some different classes I want to take, but I might just go to my local community center and do those. I want, for like recreation and just self-care, I want to get my brows waxed because I've been letting them grow in. I'm thinking about getting my lashes done, and I want to have something done to my hair. And then the last one falls under domestic values. I want to declutter my room, and I want to purchase some new lamps, some new lighting. So that's what I put with that. And it said, keep in mind all the tips from last week as you plan your activities, including scheduling them into specific times in your week. Getting into day 2. So as you can see, that's a lot to read. This is basically a therapy session, a client of his, and it's called Identifying Thoughts with Neil. So he gives us a story from one of his clients to help us understand the work that we're going to be doing for the week. So basically, Neil lost his job that he had as an IT person. At first, when he lost his job, he hit the ground running. His full-time job was to find a new job. Great ambition there. So over time, because he was not finding a job, his thoughts started to become negative. And it said that Neil's positive traits were easy to appreciate. He was committed first and foremost to his family and couldn't stand the thought that he might not be able to provide for them as he always had. I could see that he strongly resisted the downward pull of his situation, trying to stay upbeat. But as my initial evaluation went on, I could see his defenses breaking down. When I asked him about his job search, he concluded by saying with a half smile, I guess no one wants to hire an old man. So it says, as he worked through his activities, it became clear that powerful thoughts and assumptions were getting in his way. We would need to address his thinking head on. So now he's going to get in depth. Review of cognitive approach. Many of our emotional reactions come from how we think about things that happen. As humans, we want to understand our world, so we create stories to explain events. For example, if a friend is upset with us, we might believe that this friend is prone to being irrational and has no real reason to be mad. If we believe that story, we might feel some irritation towards this friend. We could diagram the sequence like this. So here's the sequence. And it says, so your friend is upset with me. Then the thought was he's being irrational. Then the emotion is irritated at friend. What if you assume that your friend must be mad for a reason and that is your fault? You're likely to feel different emotions. Friend is upset with me. I'm a lousy friend. Now I feel worried and guilty. So then it says, a major challenge in understanding the thoughts that drive our emotions is that they don't often announce themselves. Yeah, thoughts just pop in your head. And I've become way more mindful of my thoughts and just being like, let that go. Let that, you don't know if that's true. You don't know if that's true. So as a result, we don't have the opportunity to ask if the thoughts make sense because we don't even recognize that we had a thought. It's hard to evaluate thoughts that we don't recognize as thoughts. For this reason, we need to practice recognizing our thoughts and beliefs. This practice is important enough that we'll devote the rest of this chapter to it. So then it goes, how to identify your thoughts. He goes back into his session with Neil. And so he says, I'm skipping through, but he says, I asked Neil to relax, close his eyes, and to imagine where he was when he got the news that he hadn't gotten the job. Then I asked him to recount the conversation with the hiring manager, which he did, and I directed him to pay attention to how he felt. What emotions was he aware of? Did he notice any sensations in his body? Did any thoughts go through his mind? Neil opened his eyes and said, yes. Why would anyone hire me? So that was the thought. And so it says, I encouraged him to consider if there were any implicit answers to that question. He said, well, I meant it rhetorically, he said. What I meant was nobody would hire me. And we continued talking through. Neil told me that he saw himself as outmoded like a dinosaur. So you see, his thoughts were starting to be negative. And I know for me, I struggle with negative thoughts. And that's one of the reasons why I picked this up. You know, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And it's just like, sometimes my thoughts are so negative and I'm like, Lord, I need a perspective change. Like, why am I thinking all these negative thoughts and, you know, spiraling? So then he says, take a few moments to think about a recent situation in which you felt a surge of unpleasant emotion. Think about where you were at the time and what was happening. Picture it vividly. Now briefly describe the event that led up to the change in mood. Also describe the emotions that you felt. So for me, I put, one day I had texted a friend good morning and she never responded, which is not usual. And I felt confused and irritated and rejected and just like, okay, have we now met another friend that's on some subliminal message type stuff, you know? Because that's been my experience in the past. And like I said, it's unusual for her not to text me back. And I remember the weekend I was busy, so I hadn't reached out to her all weekend. And yeah, notice any thoughts you had at the time. Can you identify thoughts that could explain the resulting emotion? Write down your observations here. And that's what I said. Like, I was just like, why didn't she answer? Is she trying to upset me? She must be mad about something. She's playing games. She's acting like my mom and sister. I told her that upsets me. And here she is doing it, the exact thing. And so I felt irritated, anger, sadness. You know, I felt confused. Then I felt kind of down on myself like, dang, did I invite yet another person in that likes to play games? So next he shows a diagram of what he had Neil do to work through that negative thought. And he was showing Neil how his thoughts led to his emotion/depression. So then the last thing that he has us do on day 2 is it says, think of a time when something happened in your own life that led you to feeling down or depressed. What thoughts went through your mind? And it says, use the diagram. And I did. And so what I did for my thoughts is, I'm not going to say the person's name, but said person doesn't care about my feelings. The event said something I thought was offensive. I told said person, no apology. Then once I started going into depth, it was like a forced apology, which made me, the feelings I felt was sad, anger, rejection, depressed. Just like, dang, that's messed up. So then it says, what if I can't identify a thought? And he says, a lot of time it's hard to know exactly what we're thinking if we're not actually in the moment when we had the thought. If you weren't able to pinpoint a thought that led to an emotion, don't worry, you'll have plenty of opportunities to practice. In truth, learning to hear what we're telling ourselves is a skill we can refine throughout our lives. Yes, that's what I'm hoping. This is just the beginning. One part of your activity plan for this week will be to record at least 3 instances when your mood dipped. You'll simply note what was happening, what you felt, and what thoughts you had. You can record these episodes on the identifying thoughts form. So that was days 1 and 2 of week 1. I'm actually really excited about starting identifying thought patterns, because I know that I've been in recent situations that I can put this into practice, and that I'm able to put down and do the thought, the event, and the emotions part of it. And one thing I've really been working on too is reminding myself that everything this says, scripture says as well. So we're told in scripture, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And so whenever I'm starting to think a thought, and I have to say, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know why she didn't, I don't know. And it's like, nope. Then don't listen to it. Then don't even keep thinking about it, because you don't know. And that does not go along with scriptural truth. You shall know the truth. I shall know it. I shall know that it's truthful, and it shall set me free. So if it's not setting me free and I don't know it to be truth and factual, then I'm wasting my time. I'm listening to an imagination. I'm listening to something that's delusional. It's delusional when you think up something and then you start to think in your mind that just because you thought it made it true. And that's something that I've been practicing, I want to say, for the past 2 years. I've really been like, no, especially starting my running and using my Nike Run Club app and just learning different things from the mindful running package that they have on there. Just listening to Andy Pettycombe and Coach Bennett talk through some things. Andy Pettycombe used to be a Buddhist, and so he left being a Buddhist so that he could come help people in the world, because he's like, this stuff could be helpful. So anyway, I started to learn that, and I started to realize that I don't have to when I get spinning, or if you struggle with this too, and you start having all those thoughts rush in, you're not being present. And so on a guided run, he was just like, yeah, your thoughts are going to come in, acknowledge them. If there's one that bothers you, kind of notice it, and then let it move on like the clouds, and then come back into your present moment, what you're presently doing, listening to your foot strike hit the ground, looking at your surroundings, making sure that your breathing is under control. And that's how you come back to your present moment. And how you do that, how I try to do it when I'm not running, is I'll try to be like, okay, what am I doing right now? I'm vlogging a video. I'm sitting on my couch. I'm talking out loud kind of to myself. So that's how I kind of come back present in the moment. Like, no, because for those of us that have those racing thoughts, those negative thoughts, you can practice being mindful, and sometimes that thought just keeps coming back around. And it's like, that's because it's new to us. Everything that we're doing right now, the work that we're putting in, is new to us. It's a new way of being. It's a new behavior that we're starting. So it's going to be challenging. Like anything that you're starting that's new, you're going to have to practice and practice and practice and practice. And that's why I love the fact that he said these are things that we can refine throughout the rest of our lives. So yeah, I'm not that great at it now, but hopefully after a year, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years of practicing this, it won't even be, it'll be second nature. Like somebody that, I don't know, it started out sewing, stitching, and you used to be really bad at it, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm a master stitcher or sewer. I don't know. But yeah, that's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching these videos. They greatly help me. I hope that in turn it will help someone else, because you're not alone. And for those of us that have been through any type of trauma, any type of abuse, any type of narcissistic abuse in childhood, we tend to feel alone, because we just, you don't really see people talking about it, and you don't really see in childhood, that's not necessarily something we see. We know something's not normal because we're looking at our friends, but we also don't know. We can't put a word to it because we just don't know. And so that makes us feel alone, So I just want you to know that you're not alone. There's a whole tribe of us out there that have gone through some of the same struggles, who have some of the same personality traits. So this is what I hope. I just hope that if you're feeling alone, you are never alone. You never alone. Don't believe that. If you're feeling like you don't matter, that's why I try to end the videos with that. You matter. You do matter. The fact that if you stopped by this video and you watched it, that matters to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. Share the channel with a friend so that we can grow as our own little community. And I just want to say shout out to CD and to Angela, my 2 followers. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I will shout you guys out because your support means a lot to me. Like I said, you matter to me. So thank you so, so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.